yes, again. We're doing it again, baby. In-game live right here on SportsGrid. So happy to be with you for the next 4 hours of college basketball action. I'm Kevin Walsh, batting leadoff once again. None other than Donnie Bobby Witt Rightside here. What's the word, DRS?
Promise you I'll be better than Bobby Witt today. No doubt about it, baby. We got good stuff to hang on here. We got public favorites. We got underdogs. We got everything wrapping up. Kevin, we got Mark Pope getting bailed out. He should have got fired in that game earlier today. But here we go. Yeah, go ahead. I know where you're going with this, and I'll back it right up.
Well, here's the problem, DRS. I actually like Santa Clara in the game. Played a very respectful plus 3.5 on the Broncos. So once that game went to overtime, anyone who, like myself, did bet on Santa Clara knew how that was ending. Yeah. And it was a Kentucky cover, and that's exactly what it was, an 89-84 victory here. I know that Mark Pope's been a target of yours for basically since he's taken this job over. But Mark Pope is pretty much a win away from having a very successful first 2 seasons at Kentucky, I would argue.
And I guess, things can change, right? Because they should have lost that game. It was a great shot for the 3-point shot. I always preface by saying to myself, the minute, it's almost like Santa Clara. Like, did you coach your team? Maybe you make that 3-point shot, you call the timeout, like, hey, guys, the minute that ball's in bounds, you foul, we won this basketball game. But the fact that they were just like, let's just play defense, I can't really fault it there, Kevin, because it wasn't like it was a pure, clean look from just beyond the arc. It was a miracle shot that basically went down for them. But sometimes you need those moments where we were supposed to lose. Now we won. Can we catch momentum at this point? And you're right. It's been a long time since Kentucky makes the Final Four every other year. So winning tournament games right now is a good start. And that's what they're getting done.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting, though, Donnie, because I don't think you're look, I know you're poking and prodding a little bit, but it's not a misguided starting point here with Kentucky where Mark Pope isn't just evaluated. You would agree with this, right, Donnie, on how they do. The Arkansas games also seem to count, right? And last year, Calipari kind of played that underdog role, picked off Kansas round 1, knocks off St. John's round 2, and now Calipari's the driving force, right? Win an SEC tournament, roll Hawaii, going to be big favorites on Saturday against High Point. We know when they play that 4 versus 12 matchup. So that's why I say for Pope, he's kind of a win away because he's kind of held to his seed so far through his 3 tournament victories at Kentucky. But I'm kind of assuming a little bit, Donnie, their next opponent is not known yet. It will come from the winner of our next game. So let's get to it, Donnie. Maybe you're betting it. It's Iowa State. It's Tennessee State. We expect the Cyclones to not just win here, but win handedly. They're 24.5-point favorites. Are you involved with this one?
No, I'm not involved with this one. You take a look at the 24.5 at this point, Kevin, but here's what we're talking about again, which yesterday, do you remember before we left the show? I'm like, hey, you have any ideas on what you like a little bit later tonight? And I told you, Kevin, there are some really odd numbers across the board, which were heavy favorites, saying the public's like, we don't want anything to do with you. We love the dogs. Well, those plays last night, Kevin, went 2-1 overall if you just faded the public. Here's one of the biggest draws again today, Kevin. Tennessee State, 92% of the tickets coming in on them, 8% on Iowa State. That line, Kevin, 23.5 at some opening numbers like FanDuel, now sits across the board, 24.5, and now we're starting to show 25.5. So for me, just going with the ridiculous splits in this one, I would take Iowa State because every single person in the country apparently is on Tennessee State today.
Yeah, I like Iowa State from a team total end of it, 86.5. One thing that jumped out to me, DRS, and I'm wondering if you can kind of confirm this on your end. We joke about how the conference only numbers are no longer as of much use here, but a lot of these conference tournament champions, their numbers are much better in conference than out of conference because they don't have to run into, they play some step-up games, right, DRS? They get their feet under them. Tennessee State, I found to be a defense that was legitimately worse when they got into conference play. And I just think they're even less likely now to be able to get stops here against the Cyclones, Donnie. So I played an over 86.5. If Iowa State's not locked in defensively, which we've seen in some of these spots, yes, right?
Yeah.
Where teams aren't as dialed in, maybe they don't cover a huge number here, but That's what I played. I will say, I'm in when you're in the mood, Donnie, to get involved with a game here, I'd love more bets on Iowa State today.
Yeah.
Like, I have them in a parlay, a little race to 5, 1, 2, 3 step with Iowa State, UConn, and Florida. I don't know. We've got a first 4 spread here, -3.5. I really like what the Cyclones bring to the table, DRS.
Yeah, and especially when you look at the matchups, and you're right about this. Like versus like competition, it's a little bit easier to gauge, but they have to take that whole totality. The one thing we do know, Kevin, when you're a team like Tennessee State, you're going to need a lot of help. And sometimes it's just about when I want to take an underdog, the other team's defense isn't very good. Well, that's not in the picture here for Iowa State. Top 5 in the country there, and also top 4 in turnovers. But even the more important thing, Kevin, when you look at their defensive footprint, they don't even foul. Like, it's not like, hey, we're super aggressive. Like, let's just take VCU back in the day. We don't care. We'll foul. We'll get the turnovers. We'll overpower you, and we'll deal with the other team like Davidson trying to beat us from the three-point line, keeping the ball away, and also making free throws. I just don't see that today. I don't see that from Iowa State's defense where it's like, well, we're going to get lackadaisical. They should have their foot down. So, Kevin, as much as you are saying to yourself, maybe an Iowa State team total over, I look at the opposite and go, maybe a Tennessee State team total to the under for them. Same thing we looked at yesterday with Siena. What a crazy first half. Sooner than later, you're going to hit level. And you saw that yesterday with Duke's like, all right, enough of this offensive firepower here. We're going to hold you down in the second half.
Yeah, right. If it wasn't for the best half of Siena offensive basketball they played all year, I mean, they settled into a live team total under, right, quite nicely.
Yeah.
Did they crack 20, Donnie? Maybe they just got over 20, I think, at some point, maybe kind of in the final 30 or 35 seconds within that game. So this is going to be one we're following. We're betting. We know that. We've got a couple of live games right now, varying in competitiveness here. The number 1 seed Arizona had extended on LIU early and really kept them at bay. The question becomes the cover. Arizona at 1 point up by 32, only 24 right now, Donnie. So we'll see if the spread drama can hold in this game. But it's the tie ball game between Virginia and Wright State that I'm sure a lot of people have watching. Bracket-wise, I wouldn't think many people have knocked off Virginia in this game if they are not. There's probably more people, Donnie, who picked UVA to make it out of this region that had Wright State upsetting them here in the round of 64.
Yeah, and maybe it's just one of those things where you take a look at the ACC where it's like, okay, Duke struggled in their first half. Carolina didn't even win their basketball game. And now you're taking a look at a spot here. It's like, okay, should be able to win easy and struggling as well. I didn't think they really would, Kevin. Also, take a look at those splits. And by the way, like I always have like that mantra of March Madness. It's like, hey, take the points and pray. If you can find a team with points, take them. If you can't build a case for a favorite there, just leave it alone. This was another one, Kevin. Only 24% of the tickets coming in on Virginia. The majority of the public betting on Wright State here, but also the 8.5 didn't move. Like the opening line of FanDuel is 8.5. It's 18.5, 19. I see some 17.5 there at the gun. So it's almost like something, it's too many points to take, but the lines aren't really leveling at that point, which is something fascinating. Or maybe it just is here, Kevin, in this game, similar to what we saw yesterday. Virginia, first game on this court, got to get used to it. Then they're going to start to sink their teeth into and maybe have a big second half now as that game's tied up.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. The one thing I wouldn't be surprised if we do a little bit more of today are some of the live threes market. It's something that, a few years back we had a lot of fun with. You got to really pick your spots. You got to find your games. But they come with different shapes and sizes, right? I can tell people last night off air, because again, we do this for real. So we're not just betting because the camera's on. I was betting in the Houston-Idaho game at about plus money. And I was also betting in the Georgia-St. Louis game minus money when it comes for 2 makes, right? Different prices when you're talking about 3 makes, 4 makes. If you really, really wanted to climb that ladder, I think we've got 3 intriguing options where LIU is going to have to bomb threes. UVA, Wright State right now, these teams have been pretty hot. And then, of course, the beginning of this Tennessee State-Iowa State matchup as well. So we're going to keep it right here. We've got 4 hours of fun, as they like to say. It is in-game live. Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside here on SportsGrid.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half and you're down double digits, some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're waiting on a little Iowa State race to 5. I'm not going to pretend like I'm waiting on anything other than that right now. And, I mean, we didn't get hit. We didn't get hit. We're going to need to stop here, Donnie. Pressure's on for the Cyclones.
Yeah, I've got this. I just popped that game up right now. Pretty good defense going all across the board. So, Kevin, Iowa State's got that basketball now. You just need somebody to pop it there. You don't want to get to the free throw line. You want to get layups like you just got right there. Ba-bing.
Now here's the real question when it comes to the way Donnie Rightside likes to bet.
Yeah.
Race to 5, Donnie. Do you splash the pot for something like that for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or do you watch the game? Like, I know when it comes to the triples, I know all bets are off.
Yeah, no, it's when it's the sprint type of stuff. You can't watch the game itself. Like, there's no point in that because somebody out there knows it sooner than you, which is why you watch the sports books where they know it sooner than everybody. I'd rather have that at that point than actually try to watch it and wait for somebody to splash the pot.
Here's a quick Donnie Rightside story. Everyone must understand. Nobody hates sports getting spoiled for them more than Donnie Rightside, possibly.
Correct.
We were before an NFL show, Major League Baseball postseason, Yankees Guardians on. Donnie had some bet in the game, and it means that his Apple Watch or whatever watch he has is going to buzz when there's a score in the game.
Good.
So up comes Aaron Judge, and Donnie's like, whoa, huh? Right? And then, so we're watching, and I kind of like let that one like go, right? Like, that's not Donnie's fault, right? Then Donnie's watch buzzes again. He looks dead at me, goes, watch this. Now, what else is it going to be, Don? It is a John Carlos Stanton smash.
Yeah. Those are, I'm telling you, man, the buzzes to the watch are some of the greatest signals you can have. But also, Kevin, it is a detriment at times because there have been times in my life, like we're watching an injury here for Iowa State. Jefferson walking off the court here, barely could put any weight on his ankle. Yeah, we are going to have to talk about that in a second. But understand this, Kevin. Sometimes I go and be like, man, what is there? No cell reception out here? I know they were inside the 20-yard line. I'm just waiting on a buzz for a field goal to catch the team total, and it never happens. And then you see that was an interception or missed field goal. Yeah, those are devastating, man. Those are.
Yeah. Don's like, wait a second. Someone's going to have to explain themselves here. Certainly the baseball game isn't still 0-0.
Exactly.
And,
correct.
It is. Now, to the Iowa State game. The sacrifice of Iowa State getting to 5 was apparently by far and away their best player getting in.
Yes. Correct.
Which I don't even know what to make of DRS. Like, For anyone that doesn't know, Joshua Jefferson, he's an All-American. I believe he finished second team All-American this year for Iowa State. He was a big reason why I have...
Every single game, Kevin, he played this year.
Yeah.
Every game that he played, he had at least double digits. That tells you.
17 points per game with 7.5 rebounds and 5 assists. He had, in that tournament, Big 12 tournament win over Texas Tech, 18-13-6, scored 21 with 3 made threes in the 2-point loss to Arizona. For Jefferson to be out, Donnie, this is an Iowa State team I have futures on, right? And that's kind of one piece of the puzzle. But the other piece becomes, could they actually be in trouble here now, right? Is there a world where Joshua Jefferson's absence is enough to make this game interesting?
No, you're talking about Kevin, 7.5-point line? Yeah, really big deal. We're still dealing with Kevin 25. Like, if he doesn't play in this game, or he was even announced out before the game started, nobody's saying that, hey, we think Tennessee State should be able to hang around. Now, granted, good basketball team. You don't make the tournament unless you're a good team overall, but I don't see this impacting it. But if I did have, hey, Kevin, loved Iowa State minus 24.5, yeah, I'm already getting up, leaving. Like, I got to go walk the dogs at this point. Like, that's how frustrated you are, because that cover is in jeopardy. Losing the game, probably not for Iowa State, though.
What's interesting, just looking at like some of the offensive rating, defensive rating stuff, the defensive efficiency kind of jumps off the page for Jefferson a tick more than the offense, not by a lot. But so I wonder if, does that mean, for Tennessee State now, that offense could have a little bit more success, maybe a little bit easier path to the basket within this game here. You'll notice a 23.5 point number. What's interesting as well, though, DRS, we talked about it yesterday, their willingness to post some live player props here. Tamian Lipsey for 20 is 3-1. Momcilovic for 25 is plus 280. Those are so wrong for guys that have, 2 points for Momcilovic and no points for Lipsey, or 1 point for Lipsey. It almost says that they're hanging numbers on a Jefferson out for the full game type of situation, which we, one, don't have clarity on, but two, I'm not going to then think, oh, okay, Jefferson's out, here comes Lipsey for 25, no problem. I don't think those are great numbers.
9-3 right now, Kevin. And also, like, you take a look at, we don't know if he's coming back in, maybe you can get it taped up, but you're not going to press it in a game against a 15 seed, right? So I look right now, 148.5, I'm seeing as that total in a 9-3 game. I do like the under in this game overall now, Kevin, because yes, there's other really good players on the team, but when you have a guy that scores mandatory 10 points and close to 20 points a game, the thing that I look at is saying, how's the overall flow go? I'm going under 148.5 live in this game now.
Okay, so DRS going to rock with a live under there yesterday. Hit an unreal live under yesterday in the
it's a good one.
Duke Siena game. Game just completely slowed down, which is great. Donnie, sneaking up on me a little bit here, but before we hit the break, Alabama Hofstra. No Aiden Holloway, the story for most people. That's going to kind of put me onto some Latrell Rightside props here. Likely going to take him for 3 triples, but what are you doing with this game, DRS?
Yeah, I think the points make some sense, too. You see that 13.5, 14.5, depending where you're shopping or where they opened up, Kevin. Now we're seeing 11.5 across the board, roughly a 50-50 ticket count here. And I'm always under the guys. And I know, hey, the numbers are what they are. You lose a really good player on your basketball team and go up against a solid team, I'm going to take the other team. Hey, it's baked into the line. Yeah, I get all that here. We'll see if it's baked into the line with Iowa State with their best player out as well. I'll take the points with Hofstra and have some fun early with that one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what. We'll be able to kind of put into comparison the 3-point prop prices where, betting an Alabama game is just a really different story than most. Quick break. Right back. Morning Game Live on SportsGrid.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? Ooh. I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, It does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's get in the mix here, man. Alabama and Hofstra is going to get underway. I'm on Latrell Rightside for 3 made threes, minus 108, that number over on FanDuel. This game's going to tip off, so we're excited to watch this. I am trying to root in, Donnie, kind of, you know, stay a little secret, a little quiet here, and under in Arizona LIU.
Okay.
Where it's actually kind of been the reverse, so I feel a lot of these games have gone. Very, very slow starts. They finally pick up, but sometimes not enough to get to your number. This game was a rocket ship early. I mean, in-game numbers, I believe, in the 160s. I bet a 151.5 a couple of days ago. This number closed at 147.5. We are in-game right now, Donnie. 148 and a hook. What do you think here, Arizona LIU?
So what do we have? It's 31, is it? That we have right now, total on the board, 76-45, I'm doing that math right.
121.
I'm sorry, 121. Here's the tough thing, Kevin, with the 30 points. You know exactly where I'm going. We're not at that point where it's breakneck pace for both teams, or like, let's just say Arizona stays engaged. I understand this too. There's still a shot clock. They're not taking a knee at the end of the shot clock without getting shots up. They could shoot 7 of 8 to close, Kevin, and run the clock down. You take it every single time. It doesn't matter. But I'm just worried about that 45 points where Arizona's like, okay, survive,
I'm on the
advance,
under, though,
no big deal.
Don't be worried.
Oh, you're on the under. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I'm
gotcha.
on the under.
Good. No, and you're in a good spot then, because I don't see – if LIU gets hot from 3, so be it. But in no way, shape, or form, Kevin, is Arizona catching and getting a defensive rebound and pushing it 2 dribbles and then dunking a basketball because they want a fast break point. So under's good. Under's good.
Yeah, everyone there just got a glimpse into good guy Rightside, who was trying to kindly
to say that
be like, this game's got no points left in it, brother. Time to tune into the next one. The tone of that sounds far different if Donnie was well aware that he's like, this game's got no points, Kev. Home free. No. Let's move on.
Done deal.
It feels, Donnie, though, our big watch now is going to be this UVA Wright State game here, huh? I mean, Wright State not going away, just tied up at 53 apiece. I think Virginia's shooting a couple of free throws here. Was this a game? I don't know if I already asked you, so forgive me, but we're kind of just getting settled in it. Is this a game you had a strong opinion on coming into it?
No, did not. Not that I wasn't familiar with Wright State or not, but Virginia, well, here's what I'm down on, Kevin, a little bit. The ACC at this point, I don't know how good they are. But again, if you're looking at just the metrics of, hey, which way should we go? 18.5 line, heavy price on the dog. Everybody's betting them. So I would lean towards Virginia, but I'm not as high. Like sometimes you just go conference play. Like I used to, like a couple years ago, the Big 12. Didn't care who they played, Kevin, in the tournament. I'm taking the Big 12 team every single time because that conference was absolutely legitimate and a nightmare just a few years ago. And so it's the opposite now. We say, well, how can we trust this league and how good it is? I would now say, well, Donnie, why don't you just take Rightside? I told you, I didn't like the game enough to take it at this point, but the sharp angle was on Virginia. They're only holding 2 right now. They'll probably win this basketball game as they should, but I was like, hey, Virginia should blow it away or Wright State should be able to hang around. They really didn't have that great of a feeling on it.
Yeah, so we've got ourselves a 2-point ball game, Donnie, and kind of just in a similar thought as you. I don't find I have a fantastic read on Virginia as a whole. I don't love this basketball team, right? I know some people are advancing them to the Elite Eight, maybe out of the region as kind of that dark horse spot here. I, for my bracket, have them getting clipped by Tennessee in a 3-6 game round of 32. They're very interesting, Donnie. Like they kind of came out of nowhere, right? They didn't play a good out of conference schedule, but they had good numbers, and I want to make it clear, they had good results in the ACC. They rolled NC State. They beat Louisville on the road in that conference. They had some good results. The issue for Virginia, and it's why in hindsight I'm surprised at how some of the cookie crumbled, if you will. The ACC was lifted up in a way by the committee that doesn't really track with how I view them. UNC felt overseeded as a 6. SMU making the dance was a little bit surprising. They gave NC State the nod. They gave Miami a 7. They were pretty kind, Donnie, to Duke, the number 1 overall seed. Like, I feel like we all know Duke isn't that, or excuse me, not Duke. The ACC isn't that good. And yet I feel the tournament committee was very kind to them.
Yeah, and also NC State, where are they at right now? Home. You take a look at also, best players maybe on your team getting hurt. Oh, don't worry about it. UNC will just be fine heading into the tournament here. Not the case at this point. We always knew Duke was it if they were healthy, and Duke's not even healthy. This might be like the weakest ACC, including with Duke with 2 starters down, that you're going to see.
Yeah. All right, quick break here, guys. We'll stay locked in. Wright State up 2, under 12 timeout.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, the dust is settled on the game. They just end, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The early line, Only on SportsGrid.
Joshua Jefferson, explain yourself. 26-7, Donnie.
I mean, blowout city at this point. Everybody put that guy in an air cast and be like, we don't even need you anymore at this point. By the way, Kevin, I was getting a good laugh. Like Hofstra, now they just knocked down a 3-point shot. I mean, I don't know what they were doing for the first 5 minutes, man. Air balls, throwing balls away at this point. Tough scene for Hofstra. But that game I thought would have a little bit higher of a jump start than it does right now, Kevin.
Well, you know what, Donnie? You mind? Can we look into just the pricing of 3-point shots? Okay. So, whoa!
Which game we going to?
Alabama Hofstra 2 makes, Donnie, minus 105. For reference,
somebody's made one. Yeah.
St. Louis, and look at you with the pop, man. St. Louis Georgia price yesterday was around minus 180 in game, Donnie.
Yeah.
I do not mind a little Bama Hofstra click special here, DRS.
No, and that's what they're going to do. Like, they're going to be tossing it up left and right at this point. So, for me, you just need Hofstra to hang around in this game. Now, granted, I told you before the game we like them with the points here, but the MO on both teams are we're going to shoot the 3-point shot. We're comfortable shooting the 3-point shot. They're knocking down the 3-point shot right now. So, anytime you want to get in on overs on 3-point shots in this game, that's what they shoot. Like, oh, they didn't even shoot one, Kevin, in the last 2 minutes. That's not the case. These are 3-on-2 fast breaks that end in a 3-point shot type of teams.
Yeah. No, right. All right, so I'm going to get in, Donnie. Can I get you in here, DRS?
What's the time frame? Yeah, what's the time frame on the next one for the threes?
Donnie, it would be
11:59.
It would be 12. Yeah, 11:59 to 8. Can I get you in for 2 and for 3 makes?
Hold on. Let me see what the price points are here. Whew, look at that. So we got 4 minutes to make 3 threes.
Yeah, you want to get up to 4?
Plus.
Now, Donnie, I don't think it's a bad price.
Let's start with 2. Let's start with 2 and then see if we can build on that. Because the big minus 110 to plus 330 is a huge number. But I just like I think they can get 2.
I like playing them both.
I think we might be stretching with the 3. Yeah, both. No, that's not bad. That's not bad then if we play both. 5
I might play 2, 3, and 4. You think 4 is out of control?
4 might be a little bit out of control because again, we don't have a crazy start. Even though Alabama and Hofstra just dropped back-to-back threes, which makes that look better at 13-9 at the first time out here. But I think 2 is comfortable. But if I'm with you, it's 2 and 3. Get the 2. Everything's in your back pocket plus money on the horizon. I think that makes sense. So 12 minutes.
But Don, no bite for you on the 3 is what you're telling me here.
What do you mean?
That's a little surprising to me. They haven't even started making threes yet, Donnie. Yeah. Don, you know what?
Hold on. What do they got? Wait, let me see here. So we got 1 for 4 from Hofstra, 1 for 3 from, and they just actually hit those 2 3-point shots. Got to get warmed up at this point.
No,
I was team 3-point shots.
No, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do, Donnie. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try and get you in with me on this. All right.
All right.
We're gonna bet because they just opened up the 7:59 to 4 o'clock window, basically. You know that 4 window.
Yeah.
You see that? I'm going to bet both windows. For 2s
and 3s, or what?
Yeah, I might take. Should I take the 4th as well, or don't worry about the 4th?
No. Here's what we got to do.
All right, go ahead.
Because we have 14:54. So we have a couple minutes on this one here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Kevin. Again, it's not going to make that much sense.
You're going to be greedy.
Ladder all the way up. Start at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. How about that?
In which window?
The first window, and then roll it over to the second window. Like almost like Kevin, you're putting in like even what closes?
Because
why can't
Donnie,
I do them all at the same time?
No, you can do them, but what I'm saying, you're not going to be able to roll it over because they're not going to pay you instantly.
No, I'm not even rolling it over. Like even if it's like $5 a piece, betting them all 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, all the way down the list, and then you're like, we've got 1. He's got 2. He's got 3.
I love that. Which window? Which window do you like? The one that's coming up?
You know what? Now we're getting strategic here, and I don't like that right now because I'm trying to just fire away. Is it better? Like, what window would be better, the 4 or the final? I see. I don't like at the end of the game. I would like the final 4 minutes.
Yes.
At the end of the first
we're
half,
in the
I don't know
heart
why
of
I
the
like
game.
that because if you're saying, all right, hey, we just got a rebound with 30 seconds to go, that's not 2 or 3 possessions. That's one possession with a horrible look. So I actually don't want to bet the final stanza here. I would like to bet the 12-8 and then the 7-4 and then leave the rest alone. Yeah,
I agree. So that's what I'm going to do, Donnie. That's what I'm going to do.
Let's go.
I'm going to go. All right. So we're in. All right. Now, I don't know if we've done the exact same thing, but we're in on the exact same concept.
Yes.
Is how I see it here. We're letting it fly for triples in the Alabama game. I got 2, 3, and 4. And now we got to make sure it's on my main screen here. Listen, folks, if you're live with us, we're hanging out. We're on SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh. It's Donnie Rightside. Feel free to tweet at the Kevin Walsh at. What did you change? Did you change the handle? Is it just Donnie Rightside now?
It's at Donnie Rightside. The same thing. It's at the real Kevin Walsh. So we both changed it.
Now,
see,
you see, now I had it. Nah,
you
could have
walked
said
into
Rightside
it. You
VP.
walked right into that.
Yeah, but I
you
could have
walked right into that. By the way, I was Rightside VP weeks after I changed my name on this network, so it ain't no big deal. So there you go.
I got you there. At SportsGrid, man, we're in the mix here. DRS. Virginia's starting to pull back a little bit here now. Up 4 in this game. What's more interesting to you right now, Donnie? The Virginia Wright State opportunity of a close game, or Iowa State just absolutely demolishing Tennessee State?
Yeah, I like the demolishing because sitting on that. Now, I don't have the number up here. I had 148.5 to the under. Now it's a little bit more out of control. Do you have that number? What's that live number on that total?
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you. Give me 2 seconds here. 153.5.
Oh,
and
so
that's
it's up
just
a little
a
bit.
product
That's okay.
of
That's okay. Though.
Iowa State, Donnie's got to be penciled in or almost at 100, right? Not that they're going to get there, but from a live team total, Donnie, 95.5 for the Cyclones right now. So just, pricey type of situation.
I mean, we did see some teams touch 100 yesterday, but again, in a blowout, there's no reason to do that. And also, once you already have a player injured, you ain't leaving those guys in extra time at the end of the game at this point now, right? So
No. I am going to try, before we get to our 3-point window in Hofstra, Bama.
Yes.
Arizona, LIU, 86-52. That's 138 points. I have 13 points of breathing room. Pre-game bettors are anywhere from about, 9 to 10 points of breathing room, Donnie, with about 2 minutes to go. And LIU are throwing transition lobs. I mean, slow it down, family. Slow it down right now, man.
I mean, working it up right now at this point. Yeah, Arizona 86. So they're going to be able to get 14 more points, get to the 100-point marker for no apparent reason whatsoever. But now, Kevin, you see the 86-52. That point spread right in range as well. So
good point. Really, really good point. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Donnie, with those numbers, the splits that you've mentioned, we saw both 1 seeds yesterday not cover. With both Duke and Michigan. Arizona might put up a cover. Florida's the biggest favorite of the bunch. Florida is a monster favorite later today against Prairie View.
Roll them up at this point. Like let me see what the latest betting trends on that are as well. So we got, there you go again, Kevin, 90% of the tickets on Prairie View. It's almost just like the betting public's going, like any ridiculous number, we're going to take a chance for those guys to hang around. Like same thing with Penn last night, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody couldn't get enough of Penn. They got waxed.
Yeah, LIU N1, Donnie. Just like, here, come on with this, please.
I mean, what are they?
Like, when do we start to show a little bit of class and just, start to dribble this thing out both sides? When do we start to take a deep breath?
So let me just get a quick update here. So loading up these. So you're going to miss out, Kevin, on the first wave of the threes.
Why?
And just have to go with the second wave because I was loading my account back up and I'm clicking it here and it's Xing it out. And it took too long. So I'm going to have to wait till the second round. Yeah.
All right.
Well, so I'll just cheer against you. So.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Don, it'd be nice if you could still root me in.
You missed it again.
Yeah. Good. The good thing is all the misses are just due for makes then in that next window. All right. One game live.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right?
Ooh.
I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the games. They just end. It's all until, like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here on SportsGrid. Good break, good timeout is what we like to call it, because it allowed me to be a little freer watching the end of Arizona LIU. Heart absolutely shatters for those who had other numbers. LIU banked in a 3. Ask the kid on LIU who banked it in if they won or lost the game. He'll tell you they won the game. Eddie Munyak, a sophomore who scored his first career basket. His first career basket was only the second time they ever let him take the court, Eddie Munyak. Arizona comes down. They're just throwing it off the glass, dunking on their head. We got fortunate just to get the other under out, but we did get that under in. Yeah. We are going to lock in a Wright State UAV, I promise you, but we've got triples, and an upset alert all in one game. It's Hofstra, it's Bama. It's a 4-point pride lead, DRS.
Yeah, taking a look, too, at those 3-point numbers, Kevin. Again, we said if you like an underdog and they can hit the 3-point shot, it'll keep you in ball games. How about 4 for 8 to open up the game there from 3-point range? 8 of 16 overall from the floor. You like to see that. Now, we know also Alabama likes to shoot the 3-point shot, just not making it as much. 2 for 8 from 3-point range, 6 of 16 from the floor. You know that's eventually going to change. But again, talking about this game before it started, we liked Hofstra with the points. Whenever you have your second best player is not going to play in this game, look, I'm going to lean towards the points here in a game that's neutral site with both fan bases, and also the same thing where players might not be used to playing on this court yet. Good start for Hofstra, first 10 minutes.
No doubt about it. This team's at the line right now, coming out of the under 12 timeout. So I guess my question to you, Donnie, with Wright State, Virginia, as Wright State has the lead now with less than 6 minutes to go in this game. Yeah. Is Virginia the type of team where you go, man, they're not losing? Get me -1.5, 2.5 in game, -130, -125 money line, or do you kind of watch this run and go, this is big time trouble here?
Yeah, it is big time trouble because you're looking at it this way, Kevin, and saying like Duke Siena is a little bit different level. Hey, Duke's down double digits. They'll get it right. They're going to overpower this team here. I'm not getting that same feeling. And again, it just goes back to the ACC not being as deep. And if you say, well, Virginia had a great regular season, against who? Like a BC, hey, handle BC.
Yeah.
Oh, what a big game against Clemson. Like, no, not the same thing at this point. So I don't have that 70-67 right now, Wright State, and go like, oh, -1.5. That's basically them just to win the game. Should they win the game? Yes. Were they favored to win the game by a blowout? Yes, they were. But I got to tell you, no part of me is going now, Kevin. Let me click Virginia right now, -146 on the money line. Not thinking that.
Yeah, this is a spot where we're going to need Pama to make some of these open triples. I think that is called a technical foul on Virginia, Donnie, which is interesting. I'm wondering how we can kind of maybe even turn the upset alert here into what is a very high in-game total. I'm seeing 162.5 right now for Wright State. Virginia, I'm seeing a 1.5 point spread. UVA team total 81.5, very expensive. By the way, for that number. And then you've got an 80.5 for Wright State. 11 points for Wright State. Funny enough, feels better actually than the Virginia number in my opinion, Donnie.
What do we have, though, Kevin, in that game foul-wise? Do you have a look at that with about 5 minutes to go? Like, if they're both
Virginia's in the bonus, great call by you. UVA is in the bonus. Wright State's not even close. And probably won't even get into the bonus. Yeah, it's a good call, Donnie.
And you know where this really winds up, Kevin? How many times you see it in a game? It's like the team plays such good defense that they only have 3 team fouls with a minute to go, and you waste 35 seconds fouling 4 or 5 times in a row. Yeah, just for that reason there, I'd only be looking under.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away. Maybe, we wait a little bit longer and try and get something. Hofstra, by the way, has made another triple DRS here. So we might have.
Is that 3? What did you have in this so far?
I think that's 2 threes in this window. So a third 3 would just be absolutely fantastic.
Man, I missed out.
But that already kind of like covers the segment, if you will, right? If you play it appropriately, you'll only need to get to the 2 window there.
Yep.
But I will, and I wonder if it's going to change.
I'm dipping in. Let's go.
Yeah, Donnie, I don't know if it was like a product of just a slower start. That's a low number, Donnie, that I feel they were offering. Somebody, like I said, who was betting it yesterday, I didn't think an Alabama game was going to be -110 or even money for 2 makes inside a 4-minute window. I didn't see that coming.
And by the way, like you're taking a look at, you figure the backbone would have been like Alabama making their 3-point shots. They only have 2, but also 11 3-point shots attempted through 9 minutes, essentially. So you're probably looking at a 40-plus 3-point shot attempt game for Alabama. Live by the sword, die by the sword is how it's going to be. But hey, 5.
There's a kid named Biggie Patterson on Hofstra. But the second you remember something like that, you think, this team's going to win a national championship.
Exactly.
That's kind of how stuff like that goes. I mean, Biggie
Cruz Davis. Come on now.
Yeah, but that's my point, Donnie. They got a kid named Cruz Davis, and he's not even in first place.
And Silas Sunday, fantastic team name.
How about Joshua Ducati? I don't even JDC. I assume they call him.
Yeah. Or how about the big German out there? I mean, that's fantastic, right?
Yeah, Silas Sunday works Ring of Honor. I'm pretty sure.
Fantastic name.
I think that guy's.
I mean.
I think that kid's on the undercook. 7 foot.
Guys wrestling in Japan these days.
Hit my line, brother. Listen, if this whole basketball thing does not work out for you, pal, I've got it covered.
Yep.
You hit my line, Silas. Big Dog Sunday. Yes, sir. We'll call him Silas Domingo. We'll switch this thing up a little bit. We'll work the Mexican territories. You got to be kidding me with this guy. This guy's huge. I love that.
10-point lead here. Is it time to dip in Obama? Is it time to middle of that game? Man.
No, this could be set up nicely for my Texas.
I mean, shout out Iowa State. I mean, is Iowa State going to cover the over by themselves? What are we doing here? The Tennessee State get a memo? Jeez.
Yeah. I gotta. But the best is too, Donnie. Like, it's not as if Joshua Jefferson set the tempo. Like, no, like this guy just got out of here, and that's what it was. Yep. Oh, come on with this. This right cell is missing wide open bunnies right now. I need that third triple, Donnie.
He's selling.
Activated.
Yeah, he's selling out here right now. He's selling on people. Come on. He is.
He's selling, man. Come on, brother. Yep. All right, quick break. We're on Upset Watch with Virginia Wright State.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just end, and so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Believe it or not, somehow, some way, we're about an hour in. Doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
I think we just logged in, you know, but that's the fun that you get to have here, man, with some good games and some potential 3-point shots. We are in the window, Donnie. Now you get to root for some threes yourself here. And by the way, because I do not believe this is a product. I don't believe, Donnie, of like, actually, you placed the bets. Right, Donnie, in the 359 to 0 window?
Yes, I did.
What did you get on 2+ makes in that window? Because I'm curious if it moved or not.
On the, let me see, 2+ makes in that bracket, it is minus 105.
No
in the
way.
Final
DRS,
standings, 359 to 0. Yeah.
We might be done with this game, Donnie. Right now, the same exact wager, same exact window, minus 220 for 2 makes.
Really? Holy
Plus
cow.
155 for 3 makes.
CLV, they see us hammered. They saw us hammered. Those big $5 wagers I just put in moving those numbers.
But you know what? That's all it takes there, man.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine.
Wanna
That's
have some
all
fun?
it takes there. Yeah, we got 3 makes in the last window, and I wonder if maybe I don't know if the books were overreacting, kind of late to the party here, but it's an Alabama game, man. So we're expecting 3-point shots to fall, and that's exactly what we are going to be betting on here in this spot. Feeling good about where we are right now. Iowa State scored again, and then again, and then again. I mean, they've got 44 with
crazy.
5 made threes only, too. So they're doing a lot of damage inside in this game. They're dominating the glass in this basketball game. So really impressive stuff from them. A lot of eyes on Virginia, Wright State. Wright State, when we talk about a cover, you know, should be absolutely nothing to even, you know, see here, think about kind of thing. But from an outright perspective, UVA right now on an 8-0 run to take this lead back and find themselves up 5 in the ball game.
It's funny, too, because we were just talking about this about the 5-minute mark. Like, nothing said to me, like, I need to jump in on Virginia when they were minus 1.5. Now it's 75-7. It's minus 6.5 to cover that number, and 153.5 as the listed total here. So credit Virginia for turning that around. I didn't have that game on. I heard you talking about technical foul. The technical foul in Wright State, did that help that 8-0 run, I guess, that you're talking about? Or because
No, I think it was actually a tech, Donnie, on Virginia. And then since that point,
got fired up.
Yeah. But it was like Donnie was. I think he like threw the ball to a kid on Wright State, and they opted for like a tackle. Where I was like, it was a little wonky. Yeah, it was a little wonky there, Donnie. But Virginia's going to try and kind of settle this thing in. And we talk about it too, right, DRS, where those foul games don't come into play. I mean, listen, this isn't done yet, but, all of a sudden at the 129 mark, like I might be a little bit behind you, but at the 129 mark, this thing's got 145 points in it,
Yeah.
We just saw in-game totals significantly higher than that. Bama Hofstra's gone to sleep all of a sudden. What's the story here?
Yeah, 30-21. So we're not even getting 3-point shots now. Alabama just went ice cold at this point. 3 of 14 now, 21%. And then obviously we're at 5 of 9 for Hofstra. They're now 5 of 10 as they miss a 3-point shot here. So not good, man. Not good in this window right now. Maybe it's because we got to 4 minutes? We got 2.5 minutes to start knocking down some triples here, and it ain't happening yet.
Which is pretty much every single possession, though, for Alabama. At least you would anticipate here. It's going to be really fun
for Alabama. Jeez.
No, really bad, Donnie. Really bad. But look, they're also the kind of team. Like we'll see when we get the next stoppage of play here. Like they're capable of scoring another 20, at least 15 right before this half comes to a close. Man, they are trying to like work it inside almost a little bit here right now. I wonder if they're just a little rattled.
Brutal.
Little rattled.
8 for 25, by the way, for Alabama. 32% shooting in the first half. 52% shooting for Hofstra here in the first half. That's incredible.
Yeah. Virginia with just kind of running through Jakari White here down the stretch. He's just been brilliant in the close here. And Wright State, maybe, you're going to need missed free throws. It's going to be tough for this team now, down 7 with under 30 seconds to go here. So just not a great close from Wright State, but I think really the story is more so just an excellent close from UVA. Like really just impressive, good stuff from them here, Donnie, down the back stretch to handle their business. We've got some more games that are going to be joining us in the next window as well. We've got a couple of them live right now, almost at the break for Iowa State, Tennessee State. We'll see if we've got some value in game in that one, but we're going to keep on hanging out with you guys right here. It's Kevin Walsh and it's Donnie Rightside. It's in-game live in the NCAA tournament.
Plus sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, the dust is settled on the game. They just end, and so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Back to the right here. It is SportsGrid. It is in-game live. Kevin Walsh and Donnie Rightside for the NCAA tournament. Virginia avoids the upset.
Yeah.
Wright State did lead, at the top of that break there, 43-38. They lose the basketball game 82-73. So you get yourselves an over, but a Wright State cover in that basketball game. That is our 4th final of the day. The best game, Donnie, that we saw today, maybe the best game we've seen so far in this tournament was Kentucky and Santa Clara, an 89-84 overtime result. We did not talk much about an Akron-Texas Tech game where some people wondered, could Texas Tech without Toppin be on upset alert? Yeah, they won the game by 20. A pretty comfortable cover when it was all said and done there for the Red Raiders. Any takeaways from you with what you saw from Texas Tech today?
It's just a deeper, more athletic team going against a smaller conference team. And I think we probably look at, Kevin, the two MAC teams, like really, heading into the tournament, not saying we can do some damage, but maybe get a win, which Miami Ohio already got. We'll see if they get one today. Probably not going to happen as they're double-digit underdogs. But Akron was always that team that we thought might have been better than Miami metrically, even though the better record was on Miami of Ohio. And I don't want to say it was a no-show, but, I mean, Big 12 team that you're playing, you hope to play them a little bit closer than that. They weren't able to do it. Just goes to show you, the athletes, even with some of the superstar players down, they're still better than your athletes.
Yeah, I think the three-point shooting for Texas Tech was always going to be an issue for Akron in that game. And it turned out to be an issue for Akron in that game. Kind of that simple, all and all. Then Arizona, Donnie, handled business against LIU, and they did so in covering fashion. A 30.5-point favorite. They win this basketball game by 34. That was a team who led by as much as 38, kind of wire to wire here. They only made 6 threes. They made most of them, it felt like, in the first 4 minutes of the basketball game. And then they just kind of grinded this thing to a halt here, held LIU under that 60 marker in the game.
Yeah, bigger, faster, stronger. One of the guys that I've really enjoyed this year watching all long highlights or not was Berries. I mean, that guy's absolutely fantastic. 28 minutes today, Kevin, 18 points, 6 of 10 from the floor, which included 4 of 5 from three-point range. It's why I've been cutting down the nets. Length, speed, power, three-point shots, inside game. Arizona's got it all, man. 33-2.
Yeah, they're a really, really good group. There's no doubt about that. I have them in my bracket getting kicked off by Gonzaga. Look, ultimately, if they meet, that number it's going to be an upset if Gonzaga is able to do it, right? The one thing I like, again, I don't want to talk too much about a game that's far from a guarantee to happen, but the one element I like is Gonzaga doesn't shoot a ton of threes, and but neither does Arizona. So kind of that math doesn't catch up to Gonzaga as much in a spot like that. It'll be a lot of inside work. Donnie, did you finally get a 3-ball? Is that possible?
Finally.
Could it be?
Yeah, minus 600, I guess, hits the board finally for the boys. Now we got to start getting 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6s if we can roll up some of those. But finally, one goes through, man. Feels good. Feels like it's been like 30 minutes of real-time action. We didn't have a 3, and we finally get one knocked down at that point right now.
And it's funny, like all of a sudden now you're like, wait, I've got all the time in the world to get another one and maybe another one, right?
Yeah.
We went through, and boy, you want to talk about a pretty sizable ticket if you played no made threes in that 4-minute window for the Alabama game. You would have made a pretty penny on something like that.
Funny you say that. It's funny you said that because I actually had all of them clicked. I'm like, now why would I take 0? Because I'm hoping. I should have just cut the 0 up there, but come on, man. You're going to root against it and for it at the same time? Stop.
You're going to cover yourself with a none go in kind of thing.
Buy out.
No, I
buy
get
out. Yeah, exactly.
Halftime at Iowa State, Tennessee State. We'll hit this 55-29. Yeah, it's a absolute smash job right now from Iowa State. Couple of made threes for Momcilovic. It's Killian Torrey who leads all scorers with 13 in that starting lineup. Nate Hesse off the bench with 12. The incredible thing, Donnie, and again, there's some extenuating circumstances, but imagine telling someone that Iowa State was going to score 55. And at the
Without
break,
their best player. Sheesh.
Yeah, but and Donnie and Lipsy gave him a point. He gave them 1 point to work with, DRS.
Yeah, exactly.
Like on top of that, too. So, you look at kind of the halftime numbers here, and it's like, I don't know. I imagine it slows down a bit. Cyclones lean on their defense. You've got 84 points up on the board. What's your in-game total? 161.5?
Yeah, it's up. It's up high. I liked it at 148.5. It's way up there now, so it's going to have to be one of the second halves. But again, usually when the teams that are the beaten down teams, not as good as the other teams, you can use it. Oh, man, that's another triple, by the way. Sorry to get sidetracked. That's 3 already, K-Dub, as we got about a minute and a half to go here. Let's keep on rolling. But for me, I just look at like the halftime adjustments by the better basketball teams and more athletic ones really show up in the second half. We'll see if it does.
That's funny, though, DRS, too, right? Like we said, it's longer windows, and like all of a sudden now you're looking at maybe the most profitable window that we've seen in this basketball game. But it was also a window, Donnie, that the books really adjusted, right? We said that 2+ went to minus 220, that 3+ went to under $2. And I think, did you just get a fourth triple, or am I behind you?
I think it's 3, Kevin, with about 1:10 live on the clock. Really? Is that 4?
I got 35-33, Donnie, and I feel like you.
I thought it was 3. Let me see. I'm going to go back with the play, but they changed this play-by-play up and really make it.
No,
nasty.
they
Now,
did. They did.
Yeah,
they
wow. Did. Oh my goodness.
Hold on, I'll handle it for you. I'll handle it.
Do they might have 4, maybe.
Hold on. So we got Bowen, Sherelle, and Edmond. No, okay. You know what it is? You're so ahead with your pot splashing, I think, is you're signaling things that we're not realizing haven't happened yet almost a little
Is it 3?
There.
Is that what we got?
You're at 3. You're at 3 makes.
Right.
You're at 3 makes.
We need one more. Can we get one more in the final 30 seconds?
Yeah, basically, again, I'm like I said, either my stream is delayed or you're splashing the pot, because you're like, we just got 3 to go, and I watched the second 3 go in.
Yeah,
kind of situation there a little bit. So
that's right. You'll take the 3 though.
We're doing with.
The 3 is perfect. If you can squeeze one at the gun, that'd be fantastic. But we'll take that.
Donnie, before we hit the break, Villanova, Utah State, 8-9 game here. Big East against the Mountain West. The Mountain West, notoriously tournament no-shows. This year, though, only one representative. You don't really see that out of the Mountain West usually, Donnie. They usually pepper this tournament. New Mexico, San Diego States. We didn't get that this year. Is this a game that you're going to be involved with, or what?
It's this one, Kevin, is so hard because you're right. You hit the nail on the head. Like Utah State, like I've loved that conference for the past couple of years, but hey, Boise State's in, they look great, or Utah State's in, and they never turn out. But again, going on the Big East, which UConn is good, St. John's is good. I question a lot of that league after 1 and 2 at this point. So I'm going to go Utah State in this game here as a true point flip, but also not really advantageous where travel distance for Villanova. I'll take Utah State.
I lean Nova, but as I dove into the game a little bit more, I wasn't in love with the setup for this basketball team, and I do think both of these offenses should have enough of advantage, right? Yeah, both of these teams should be able to, grab some offensive rebounds. Utah State will score it inside. Nova will shoot some threes, and I think this gets over a low 146.5. That was at least the number that I bet the other day. I think it occasionally came back up to 147.5. But it is settled in at 146 and a hook, so you can grab the over in that basketball game between Villanova and Utah State. We'll preview Tennessee and Miami of Ohio in the next segment, and we'll hit the halftime numbers here in Alabama Hofstra. But all of a sudden, that double-digit Hofstra lead, hopefully you use your little up 10 situation, because they are now down 2 at the break here. In a game that
plus money,
they were
plus
looking
money
really good.
Let's go.
Yeah. There we go. Fantastic. All right. We're going to quick break and right back with you here on SportsGrid.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right?
Ooh.
I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Back with the guys here on SportsGrid. I want to dive into some halftime numbers for Hofstra and Alabama, where I see, Donnie, an Alabama game, a box score that says this team's going to offensively have a much better second half. 5 of 19 from beyond the arc. Your opportunities are there. They're a better shooting team than this, but only 5 free throw attempts as well. Hofstra only took 2 free throws. So I expect the refs to be a little bit more involved, a little more foul action here. What I'm trying to figure out in this game, though, is where are we wise to bet? The Alabama team total is 82.5. You need 46 to win by the hook on a number like that. The Hofstra team total is 74.5. You need a clean 40 in order to cash that ticket. Yeah. I like how Bama sets up more than Hofstra, admittedly, but I'm not running to lay numbers with Bama here, DRS. In-game number 156.5. We're at 72, so you need 85 on that number. What stands out to you when you look at Alabama and Hofstra?
Here's what I'm trying to put something together, because just mess around with FanDuel to give you some of those boosts here, just to have some fun. A simple parlay using one of those boosts, Kevin. Alabama win the race to 70 points in this game, and Alabama second half 10 points, first to 10 points here in the second half. It's minus 146. It's expensive, but I'm just gonna use that profit boost live on that one here. So let me punch that one in. So once again, it's Alabama first team to 70, Alabama first team in the second half to get 10 points. So I'm looking for a quick start out, and they get 70 points as well.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I want to throw 5.
I took it from like minus 195 to like minus 146 just to get that in, because I think Bama jumps on them right out of the gate.
No, I gotcha. What about the Phylon number they're hanging here, Donnie, to score 20 at minus 105?
What is he at now?
He's at 12.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, is this going to... That is not a bad number, in my opinion, actually. Him to get to 12. I mean, we just said his team is projected to score around 45 in half number 2.
Let's see here.
So I think there's a little... Man, Donnie, you're telling me you got one made 3 at minus 600 in one of those windows?
Yes.
Donnie, it's minus 1450 now. doesn't even
It's
make
one of those
sense.
markets that, hey, nobody likes that. Why are these two knuckleheads live on the air promoting this and shooting it out there? All those $5 wagers pounding them, Kevin, at this point right now.
Yeah. How about this, DRS? Phylon for 20 is plus 180 on DK and is 10-1 for 25. Like, does Phylon jump off the page to you as much as, maybe I'm kind of, pre-game thinking it a little much here, but I mean, this is the kind of guy who's going to play a ton of minutes. No Aiden Holloway, has to step up.
Yeah.
His pregame number was in this ballpark.
How about this one, though, Kevin, for fun? You got Cheryl with 12 points, Phylon with 8. That's 20 combined. You see the 150 combined points plus 850 between the two. It's tough because I don't know how high scoring the second half we need to have, but I do think that the Crimson Tide do get to 70. I wish there was something a little bit more like combined 40 points or something like that at this point. But where do we find in the points props? Which book are you using for that?
So
For the players
DK
themselves.
has them, Donnie, pretty simply. But you have to go to featured for FanDuel, and then you'll see Hofstra at Alabama live player props.
I only see 20 and then 25 for Cheryl. Is there individual ones?
No, that's all you got. Oh, no, you know what? That you got it. So you want to talk about listening, Donnie. There you go.
Yeah.
They just posted the legitimate thing you just asked for. Do you see that or no?
What?
Now, it's not
What
a
I
great
even asked
number,
for?
but they just Phylon Cheryl to combine for 50. You asked for 40.
Yeah.
Right? They did 50.
No, that's what I was saying. The 50 was in there. I wish 40 was in there.
Oh, I didn't see
like
it.
a little bit better price.
Oh,
at
I'm
that
sorry.
Point. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I like
see,
the Phylon
I
to get
see.
20 points, so I think it makes some sense. What makes more sense, though, Kevin? Phylon to get 20 plus or Cheryl to get 25 plus at plus 390? He would need 13 points, and Phylon needs 12 points.
So Phylon, though, Donnie, came into this game with a points prop of about 24 and a half, give or take.
Value.
So
yeah.
I'll tell you what I did. I took Phylon, but over on DraftKings, plus 180 for 20 and 10-1 for 25. That's what I did. I took Phylon to have a big second half here and see if we can kind of make hay that way. That's how I'm going to.
How about a ladder play here, Kevin? How about laddering this up here, or
Love
just
ladders.
not laddering up, but like going down this? Both teams to score first minute, second minute, third minute, fourth minute, fifth minute. It's funny how it's calculated, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Plus 142, plus 102, minus 106, minus 106, plus 104. It's kind of wild. Like it would break down like that.
No, it's a little. Those are a little much for me. I find those a little difficult to.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and have a little bit of fun with this. I'm going to take plus 142, plus 102, first minute, second minute, split one of those. It's plus money, just to have some fun right out of the gate. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Fire. Let's go.
Well, you lock that in. Tennessee, Miami of Ohio is coming up here in a couple of moments. Now, UT's climbed. Okay, I think this thing opens 10.5. They're up to a 12.5 point favorite here. I don't disagree with the line move. Just when you think about the caliber of opponent that Tennessee is, like Tennessee is so much better than SMU. That line being within 3 was a little bit wrong. So now that the line is moved, though, I actually would be very careful laying this with Tennessee, and I actually don't. I think Miami of Ohio is a little bit live again. Again, DRS, I don't know if you've crunched the numbers on this one, but Miami of Ohio will once again be allowed to just bomb triples. And they're probably going to attempt 10 more than their opponent here in this basketball game.
Yeah.
So if they win the 3-point battle, there's a world they win the free throw line. Miami of Ohio has a pathway to score in this game. What I ultimately did, though, was bet Nate Ament for 20. When you if you just look around this tournament a little bit, man, these lottery NBA guys are here. Dybonsa with 35, Acuff with 22. And Nate Ament, I know he struggled in one of the SEC games. He was brilliant in the other. This is a guy who averaged over 20 a game, Donnie, in SEC play. Yeah. To get 20 against a Miami of Ohio team that can't guard, Donnie, they haven't seen an NBA player this year. They've not played against an NBA-level guy. That's what Nate Ament is. So I took him for 20, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at this game. If you do like Miami's the underdog, and we'll get to this after the break, maybe the first half would be a good look.
All right, we're going to get into it after.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, you know, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just end. It's all until like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, man. Tennessee, Miami of Ohio. Donnie, you were giving us a breakdown. Let's dive a little more in here. I'm on Nate Ament for 20. What do you have, my friend?
Yeah, if you like Miami of Ohio, what's the chances that they will be down 25 at the break and then covering the spread? Probably close to 0. So if you think Miami of Ohio is going to hang around in this game, they better hang around the first half by less than double digits, Kevin. Free wager here I took on FanDuel. I took Miami of Ohio, plus 6.5 first half, minus 112. Key point here again, Kevin. If the 3 balls are going down, they'll keep it close. I just don't want to see that, hey, we're a better team, we're a physical team, let's play over 40 minutes. Give me the first 20 minutes. If Miami's down 15 at the break, they're not going to cover that spread. Miami's down 5 at the break, there's a chance that I just won my bet in the first half, which I did, and they get smoked by 20 because they don't show up in the second half. Miami of Ohio, first half, plus 6.5. I'm going to play it that way.
You think they could win the game, Donnie?
No, I don't.
Ooh.
I don't think they can.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
Like you saw Akron step up in competition, same thing. So I just think it's tougher at this point.
Did you, Donna, do you remember me talking to you about the King of the Dog promo at all yesterday with
how many promos they
Kings?
got?
Yeah, they do have a lot of them.
Where you didn't bet?
Yeah,
You thought you bet? It was a ghost bet?
I just figured it was a story you'd appreciate, though, Donnie, because did I tell you that just to give people the full context, yesterday, the promo, they're running it today, pick the highest seed that's going to win a game. If your team is the highest seed to win, minimum $5 bet, then you get a share of bonus bets. So for anyone who bet High Point, you get 170 in bonus bets. I opened my account. I see nothing. I then proceeded to check through my wagers, and I see nothing again. So, Donnie, I said, you know what, man, this isn't right. I contacted the support team over at DK, and I said, hey, listen, I understand how this is going to sound, but, like, I'm 99% sure I bet High Point. Anything we can do here? They're like, no. They're like, you didn't. No, there's no evidence you bet it. Like, I don't understand. I was like, I was hoping maybe you could help me out a little bit. Well, the bet didn't exist. All right, man, have a good day. Thanks. Was I wrong, Donnie, to reach out for a helping hand here?
Like, take that down the street. Now, what did you expect they were going to tell you? Like, you know what? We have a digital footprint that you logged in and you were actually looking at the game, but never placed it. Congratulations, Kevin Walsh. Here's $1.75 back in your pocket. I can imagine if you are the customer service rep and you get these all day, like, I swear I had this 18 parlay and you cheated me out of it. Well, show me the picture and show me the betting slip number. I can't give you that.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Like I was hoping a little bit, DRS, that I don't message these people. So I was hoping that they'd be like, all right, this is a little bit of an insane, like, hey, I swear I bet that, send me 170. I was hoping that they'd be like, all right, there's got to be some merit to what this guy is saying. Like, Don, I was like, should I tell him I work on TV?
Yeah. What would you have accepted on that? It's like, we can't give you the 175. How about $25? You know what I mean? That you can use on the PGA this weekend.
DRS, I'd have been over the moon at a $20 bonus bet. I'd have been elated at a $20 bonus. That's what I really thought the end result was going to be. I was like, man, hopefully I could get something here. This isn't. Well, I guess I was like, maybe there's a world where they'd be like, actually, yeah, we see it's not showing up in your account, but it's here in the back room. Like, when you go to store, like, you got any bread in the back? They're like, let us check. Like, I thought they might have had it in the back, Donnie.
No, you know what the point is? That you got to sort of go about this a little bit wiser. You got to get the boys in the back to contact FanDuel with the same story here, and they're like, hey, maybe something is up. A lot of people bet High Point here, not getting paid out, swearing they had that bet. Maybe there's something to it. That's how you do.
Until they find out we're all in the same betting group.
Exactly.
They're like,
hey, your GPS pin right here is right in the same building, pal. We're on to you.
A couple of guys whose billing information all goes to the same house swore they bet High Point.
Yep.
And are looking for
and then
refunds.
They're like, hey, we just got all you guys saying you bet this. There's a guy over here with the initials JL that says he swears you guys never bet any of that stuff here. That's what he would do to you. Root against you and also put it out there against you.
You know what? It's a good point. Where are the Mortadels? Where
exactly?
Do we have
getting smashed?
Do we have eyes? Do we have eyes on the Mortadels today?
2 for ones.
Yeah, the St. Louis special from our good close personal friend. Yeah, Mr. College Basketball is what they call him. Yeah, he wow, look at it. Beat down for Texas Tech. Easy winner to push the Mortadels to 3-1 overall. Wow. Isn't he a pro? Isn't he a pro? Quick break. More in-game live after on SportsGrid.
Plus sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Man, we have a lot happening here on SportsGrid. Great to have you with us. Donnie, tell people, where are your eyes going here as we're about to have 4 games live for us to choose from?
Yeah, taking a look at this Alabama game, as I told you there. First team to 70 points, I have Alabama. First team to 10 points in the second half, I have Alabama. And also bet both the teams to score in the first minute and the second minute. Just looking for one of those minutes there to get plus money. Alabama scored right off the bat here, about 30 seconds left. Would need Hofstra to score in that first minute to have that. But again, Alabama did score first. That's where I go to at this point. But also, talking about that Miami of Ohio game, which is set to tip, Kevin, in a couple minutes right now. I'm looking forward to a big first half for Miami of Ohio. If they can hang around and make that one fun, should be interesting.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio and Tennessee is a game where Nate Ament for 20 is one of my favorite prop options that we have on this slate today. We've got about 30 minutes left with our guy Donnie. We'll get his picks for the rest of this slate before he gets out of here. We play some live action on the Baron Feinlon for 20 and 25 points at half of this game here against Hofstra. Hopefully, this is a close, competitive game with a lot of points, and we get a foul game to maybe help us through a number like that. But Feinlon's going to have to make some threes as well. Kind of simple as we've got an over in Utah State Nova that's doing fine right now. It's not, it's kind of, I think, right around that live number. I don't know if you have it in front of you, Donnie, but I 146.5 at close. I can't imagine it's too far off either direction. A number like that.
159.5 I got.
Oh my gosh, really? For Utah State Nova?
22-13 on the book here. About 12-14 left to go in that one.
Yeah, so it's a rocket ship early then. That's fantastic. And then we've got Iowa State and Tennessee State with a 50 spot from the Cyclones through the first 20 minutes, Donnie. And they've not really slowed down. 65-37, they are up on the Tigers right now.
Yeah, and also, Kevin, looking at this Alabama, first team to 10 out of the break here. A quick, I guess it's now 9-0 run.
Really?
Is it 9-0 run or is it 7-0 run here for Alabama? So 3 more would get that, and then that'll link up the 70 total points if they can get there. But if I get 22 seconds left just to get a Hofstra bucket, that will put me at plus money for the first 2 because it's been just Alabama 7-0 straight out here in the first couple minutes here.
Yeah, Bama really found a rhythm in that final 4-minute window that you were betting in, Donnie. Did they miss a little bit of a layup there for you?
No, I think it showed 17:56 where Hofstra just scored. So I'm going to watch the replay to see if that was actually right at that point. Just took a little bit too long at that point. Darn it.
Yeah. We see because you actually had an N1 for Bama, so I was almost just by your reaction, I was like, could they have missed the free throw and got the O board and just iced Hofstra out in that way there? So
they ran that shot clock all the way down, huh?
Did they? Those little 1-minute bets are tough there, DRS. I don't like, to each his own. Obviously, you came very close. I'm not going to act like you didn't. I'm just saying it's not my favorite marker to be involved with, but I totally understand when you look at a game like this. And again, you were, 2 seconds shy. Ultimately,
first to 10, they got it. Quick start. Real quick start here, 47-39 now, Alabama. So they got their 10 points here. Now I just need them to get the 70. That'll cancel out the other ones. But they're just fun bets there, plus money, looking to catch it here. And there's a couple chances that Hofstra had to score and weren't able to do it, just missed it by about 2-3 seconds. So on we go.
And what did you say, DRS, the price was for Bama first to 10? I know you said it was a little expensive, but what was that?
It was really expensive. I had to parlay to get it to minus 146, Bama to get the 70 points, and Bama first team to 10 in the second half. So it was fairly expensive for them to get the first minus 240, minus 260, something like that, first to 10. Okay. So it was fairly expensive.
All right, gives us an idea though, kind of what we're dealing with here.
In some games
underway like this. Right. Yeah, they started it off with a triple DRS. I mean, look, this team they told us how they're going to play against SMU. And it's not going to be any different here against Tennessee. They have a good formula, Donnie. They have a very, very good formula. Hey, we're going to show up bomb triples. And if we make ours and you don't, it could be a long day at the office. So, this team has the script, if you will, to give themselves a legitimate chance here to knock off a team in Tennessee that felt maybe a little underseeded. Like, I know we complained a lot about St. John's and Vanderbilt, but a lot of those advanced metrics, Donnie, told us that Tennessee were better than a 6 seed.
Yeah, no, deep SEC as well at that point. And you always expect it's just like what do you get from Tennessee in the tournament? It's almost like it hasn't been all that great. Calling cards, usually defense, real tough, couple go-getters on offense. But you're right about this Miami team. Fits into that mold where we talked about why you'd want to take them plus 6.5 first half, or maybe for the game 12.5. They can make the 3-point shot, and they got a couple threes already falling down the first 2 minutes. Something to keep an eye on, because the longer you keep the underdog involved, particularly in the first half, they believe, then it's all of a sudden like, hey, I wish we didn't have halftime because we're playing really well, and we know they're going to make adjustments. I'm interested to see what Miami, Ohio, again, does in the first half. That's why I bet them there, and we'll see if the athletes win out in the second half.
Yep. So Bama's got themselves a 10-point lead. They're going to force a Hofstra timeout in that basketball game. So let's look at some of the live options that we have here right now. Live total in that game is actually dropping down to 155.5, just because Hofstra's not bringing a lot of offense to the table so far. Utah State, Villanova, 158 and a hook. So that thing's off to a good start. Tennessee, Miami of Ohio. That line's already down 8.5 now. Just kind of a really quick surge there from them. I wonder if there's some value, Donnie, in this Iowa State game. 100.5 now for the Cyclones. Wow. No joke there, huh?
No.
It's a huge number.
You got 60. They're probably going to get to 100 at this point, where, again, I was saying, boy, at 148.5, superstar player goes down, probably slow it down. Also, Iowa State had that ridiculously, 26-7. Like, oh, they're not. Tennessee State's actually done well scoring after that, and then you figured out Iowa State wouldn't be able to score as easily without their top player. Blowing it away, man. 165.5 is that current total in that game. So almost a 20-point difference, where I liked it at 148.5. So far, no good.
Yeah, does Tennessee State have enough in them to?
I don't think so.
I know, Donnie, you're not gonna middle yourself here, right? But does Tennessee State cover a 35.5? Does this game over now a 165.5? Just kind of the tone that's been set here, right?
If
that's
I
kind of what I'm
Kevin,
trying to figure out.
Laying the 34.5 or taking the 34.5, I probably would take the 34.5 with Tennessee State. Again, on the mindset where it's not just a normal Tuesday night basketball game. We play Friday night and we're going to just see what we got here. They understand. We already lost one player due to injury. We're going to be up big. We did our job. We won the game. Let's just get off the court. I would be more surprised, Kevin. Again, now it's down to 33.5. 45-point win by Iowa State. They don't need that. And the coach understands. I can't even risk a guy, Kevin, getting a hip contusion at this point.
No, and to your point, I was trying to figure out what was going on with the minutes, Donnie. Lipsy's only played 12 minutes. He's got 3 fouls. So
why rush him?
Those are two of the better defenders on this Iowa State team. That's probably part of why Tennessee State started to find some offense for themselves in this basketball game. But I would need kind of we're not at a timeout, I don't believe, in that game. They're just kind of going boom back and forth right now. So it makes it a little more difficult to, kind of wrap your hands around a game like that. 67-41 is where we are at in that game. But what do we got else? What else do we got moving here right now? Akpar, big men doing everything for UT. Triple splashing right now for Miami of Ohio. That's about it.
Coming
That's
up on
the story
the
here,
horizon,
Donnie.
Tennessee tied up Miami at this point. Clemson, Iowa doesn't do much for me. We'll get to these games. Northern Iowa, St. John's. A lot of people got their eye on that game. Also, Kevin, one of those, again, crazy splits we'll talk about. You look at that Florida game, only 7% of the tickets coming in on Florida. I got another one, Kevin, after the break that only has 8% of the tickets here. People they love the dogs. I'm telling you, people love the dogs tournament time.
I'm almost going to have to I want to check your sources, Donnie. I mean, these splits seem a little out of control, DRS. They don't feel a little wonky. They don't feel it.
It feels like like all your boys.
Every
back there
game, Donnie's 90-10. I'm not.
They're not.
You know what?
They're not. Just the major favorites seem to be getting no love at all for some reason.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break and find out what we got on the docket after.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, you know, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, back with you guys here on SportsGrid. And according to Donnie, every single big favorite gets about $2 bet on them. That just feels impossible to me. So who's next, Donnie, on the public parade here, according to
you should love this, Kevin. Your hometown team, the Queens Royals, are actually getting 92% of the spread count here against Purdue. And once again, that line, Kevin, 24.5 up to 25.5. Just seems like that's the betting trend of teams that are supposed to win these games, but getting more than like 25 plus points here. Everybody's just unloading here and taking the points at this point. Nobody's because the whole survive in advance mentality. Why do I have to win by 40? Probably just going to shut it down by 20. We saw a couple games last night. Hey, shut it down here. Dudes were going over 100 points, blowing teams out left and right from some of those public darlings tonight. And that goes to show you. Queens, again, 92% of the tickets, Kevin. Prairie View, 93% of the tickets to the highest ticket counts the rest of the way in some of these games tonight.
I know all these things are different. I'm a little... Yeah, I think you'll understand, Donnie, why I'm a little confused why every single one of them would be 90-10. Like FanDuel, we know throws numbers out there. It says percent of money on Purdue, 64% of tickets on Purdue, 60%.
Yeah.
Like they said in the Florida game, it's 67% of the bets are actually on Prairie View, 62% of the money. I'm not
this one goes,
trying to.
I got FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Bet365. I have all of those lumped into one at this point, but could be a little bit different.
I'm not trying to be dismissive. It's just kind of like 1, okay, 2, interesting. Every 2 seed or 1 seed is getting 10% of the tickets. That's just not totally tracking in my eyes. Like, usually, Donnie, people like to show up and just like, oh, Florida's going to crush this team. Like, I feel like that's usually kind of the type of conversations that we see here, but perhaps not how everyone's kind of lined it up. You mentioned, DRS, the intrigue in St. John's, Northern Iowa. How do you feel about the game?
I hear a lot of people, oh, Northern Iowa was a pretty good matchup for St. John's. But when I look at this again, like St. John's is that, and again, a lot of people betting on that 5 seed here to do some damage in the tournament. They got about 68% to 70% of the tickets coming in on their side in this game. Line hasn't moved all that much, but I do like St. John's. And it's not because I think they can win a couple games. I always like the, hey, we're a number 1 overall seed. Yeah, we're going to go in and roll this team. Oh, no, Siena gave us a punch, like talking about Duke. Like St. John's, Rick Pitino is probably pounding on them every single day. They said you're a 5 seed. You guys ain't nothing here. You know what? You might even get knocked off by Northern Iowa. Like, I look at this game as sort of a microcosm of the rest of the way for St. John's. Let's show them we were higher than a 5 seed, and let's do it right away and really put them away. So for me, typically, I'd look at this game and go, Northern Iowa's a side, Kevin. 32% of the ticket count coming on their side, line not moving whatsoever. So for me, I go, all right, that's probably the side. But I'm going opposite. I think St. John's handles their business angrily today.
Yeah, this is a spot where I do think the motivation factor for St. John's is legitimate. They were the number 1 public perception. What was that decision by the committee team? The only other one who comes close, I guess, is Miami of Ohio. But Miami, that's more about Miami of Ohio's last month or so, more so than anything the committee did, if you will. Like, I actually think Miami of Ohio should be quite happy that they were put into the tournament, more so than be like, why weren't we at 10 or why did we have to go to Dayton? Like, I wouldn't worry about that type of thing if you're Miami of Ohio, in my eyes at least. But for St. John's, I think that motivation factor is real. I ultimately played the total DRS, and I played it to the over. 132 and a half now. I bet it at 131 and a half. I understand who we're dealing with. St. John's is more of a defensive team than an offensive team, and I get it. Northern Iowa is one of the 5 slowest teams in the country. The numbers account for that. St. John's does play with tempo, and I don't think St. John's is going to just be like, oh, sure, Northern Iowa, you can dictate the whole thing. I don't believe so, at least, Donnie. It's a very low number for a St. John's game. St. John's totals are more so 148 and a halves. So I'm taking a chance, not my favorite bet on tonight's slate, but I'm taking a chance on this over.
Yeah, hey, look, I can't fault you for that, too, because if you can just keep this game at 10 points or less, 2 minutes to go, there will be a lot of fouls at that point. We know St. John's can turn it up. I'm just interested to see how the Big East does as a whole in this tournament. Like you're watching right now, Utah State 31-27 over Villanova. See how that one cracks out here at this point. But I can't fault you for doing that here because St. John's gets up and down. Again, I do think you're going to get the best version of St. John's tonight. I just do.
Iowa, Clemson, another one of these 8-9 really close point spreads. Listen, I will say some of these closer, point spreads have been a little trickier. That's the design, obviously, of them. Yeah. But I just think Iowa's better. I really do. And, I thought Ohio State was better. The numbers said they were better. They lost it outright. I thought Georgia was better. Numbers said they were better. They lost it outright. This go around, Donnie, the numbers tell me Iowa's better. They're the favorite, but, that's not – things haven't been that easy, if you will, right, so far in this tournament with these close numbers.
Yeah. And fading Clemson here, just like fading the ACC. And sometimes, Kevin, you just take a look at how these teams finish the season. Just look at Clemson. I mean, lost to Virginia Tech, Duke, Wake Forest, Florida State, beat Louisville, lost to North Carolina, beat Georgia Tech. Then you had a couple nice wins at against Wake Forest and North Carolina before Duke upended at that point. And also, the slower tempo teams always get me a little bit nervous, Kevin, because the margin for error on how you want to play your basketball game as opposed to the game is supposed to go, it's very slim at this point. So for me, I do lean towards Iowa, but didn't like the game overall. De facto coin flip, but for me, I just look at the ACC and I want to fade them. I do.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think with what we've been watching, it's a totally fair and honest assessment kind of the field right now, and I think we always see a conference like that where for the worst reasons they become a big story. I remember there was one year it felt like they put the entire Big Ten into the NCAA tournament. And we were into the Sweet 16. I think one of them were left, maybe, right? Yep. We've seen those kind of things before. Maybe that's going to be the ACC. this year. We're going to go through some of these other games before we let our guy DRS get on the move here, man. It's a Friday, day 2, NCAA tournament. We'll be right back.
9+ sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
You know, you don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, you know, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you know, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just end. It's all until, like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
NCAA tournament in-game live. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside. But when news breaks, we have to be on the case. We have to be on the case. And Donnie, the Eagles have traded Sidney Brown to the Falcons. Some pick swaps. Your instant reaction of this huge NFL trade?
I mean, the guy would run around the field, look like he was blind, crushing his own players left and right. So I say, hey, Atlanta, you go handle this business. Just keep him away from Michael Penix's knee. How about that? How about that for news for Sidney Brown out here in these streets? Like a bowling ball in the wrong direction.
All right. Well, don't worry, because the news is confirmed by Aura Sports Group, according to Tom Pelissaro. Congratulations to Aura Sports Group. Thank you, Aura Sports Group. What would we do without them? Okay, Donnie, let me just kind of throw a couple of these games out at you. You tell me if what really bites here. I'm actually going to work reverse order. Late night, Miami, Missouri, because you're up now, so you're watching all these games. UConn Furman,
correct.
Kansas, Cal Baptist. What are you doing here?
You know, Miami, Florida, again, ACC down. You know, I like my Hurricanes. I'll root for them in basketball. But I actually do like Missouri just a little bit. And it's not to say Miami can't win. Do you know what I'm actually puzzled by here? Or should I say intrigued by would be a better word. Miami doesn't rely on the three-point shot at all. And I think that's such a good thing for the tournament at times. So it's like, hey, that win cold, 6 of 32. They got sent home from the three-point line. Miami doesn't do that here. So I think that's interesting. But I'm just overall fading of the SEC. But I got to tell you, Kevin, 7:35 game tonight. If we could just jump to that one, that's Purdue, favored by 25.5. Purdue's offense should absolutely be on target all night long against the Queens Royals. Their number is high, Kevin. 92.5 as a team total. Nobody scores that much. And I got to tell you, Iowa State's about to go for $1.15 right now. I think Purdue can get 95 points in this game tonight, which again, you say it's kind of sacrilegious. Like they don't need to do that. I get it. But I just see the tempo there. They should score at will against Queens. Do I want to take the side? Maybe so. They'll be in the 90s tonight, Purdue. They're going to score a lot.
I'll take out some of the expletives. This was my favorite game to break down, Donnie. Purdue Queens.
Yeah.
But in the breakdown, it says now, comma, Purdue might score every possession.
Oh,
Queens is easily the worst defense in the tournament. And yet, Queens is my favorite side of the day. I think they can win this basketball game. Plus the 25.5, add it to your card. Up 10 early win special on FanDuel, add it to your card. Little King of the Dogs, $5 smooch for the pooch, add it to your card. I think Donnie Queens has the formula. Purdue lets you shoot threes. All Queens wants to do is bomb away from deep. And these Purdue possessions are going to take ages, Donnie. I think Queens has the chance here, man. I love the 25 and a hook. Love it.
I mean, is it because there's a little like front porch area? There's a pool in the backyard. There's a basketball court, like sort of in the driveway. Queens. Do you like Queens just because it's called Queens at this point? Like at this called King's University. I don't think you'd be thinking the same thing.
It's interesting though, Donnie. I go back and forth because to some degree, Queens, obviously, but also like, they're trying to cut in on our story here a little bit. Like this isn't actually Queens. This is Charlotte, right? So it's interesting, but I think there's a brotherhood there between the Queens. So I'm on Queens plus 25.5. I absolutely love it.
I can't fall for that many points at this point. I can't do that. But so 163.5 for that opening line down to 115. I do think we get points, but I'm just looking more towards Purdue to just hammer all the way through in this one. We'll see how it turns out, though.
Yeah. Again, the game should have no less than 600 points in it, but we've seen those movies before. Anything else, DRS, before we let you get out of here, man, or what?
Yeah, just trying to root on a couple things at this point right now. Alabama, 8 points away there from first to 70. That'll cash a ticket. Iowa State's got 90 with 8 minutes to go in the game without their best player. Make it make sense. It doesn't. So crazy stuff across the board. Do we get, though, Kevin? Do we get a big upset tonight, though? Like a big upset. Do we get one?
I mean, other than Queens, Donnie, how about it? Donnie, early, you start to cap the Saturday card, DRS?
Yeah.
You start to.
Who's doing that? It's too early for that. Come on. Stop it.
Donnie, you think in the final 10 seconds you could name one Saturday game without looking?
Yeah, because I'm cheating right now. But yeah, go VCU Illinois. That should be a fun one.
Well, man, Donnie Rightside. Right.
Plus sounds pretty good here, Donnie, at around even money, right? I got no problem there, trading at 54 cents. And again, all the pressure is on the higher seeds and the favorites, right? Start getting into that 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and you're down double digits. Some teams, it does not get better, Donnie. They don't pull themselves up off the court.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
You don't usually get Alabama basketball booked at less than 160. You're getting that now here. The real question is Aiden Holloway done for the tournament for an Alabama team who, we've seen under Nate Oates, they're more than capable of getting themselves to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8 and maybe even beyond that.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night. So, you're watching the NFL games and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, you know, the dust is settled on the game. They just ended, so I'm like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
NBA Central sent out a tweet yesterday. Hornets announcer Eric Collins says Jalen Duren is one of his favorite players to watch. Quote, I like talking about that body of his cut up like coleslaw, end quote. Interesting.
Yeah. Not quite sure what the reference to coleslaw is. No idea, Donnie. I have no idea.
The early line only on